Today we are going to be continuing from where we stopped last time, and this time round we are going to be looking at what we term as the intrusive volcanic landforms. When you look at the intrusive volcanic landforms, we are going to be looking at how they are formed, look at the features that relate to the formation of those landforms. The first thing here they are saying that the intrusive volcanic features or intrusive volcanic landforms are formed when magma cools and solidifies within the crust to give what we can term as protonic rocks, or what we can term as the intrusive igneous rocks. So when you look at how things tend to be looking there, they try to show the intrusive activities of volcanoes and what they give rise at the end. When we go on, we are going to be seeing different features there, the extrusive and also the extrusive. The first diagrams where you are seeing lava plateau, cedar cones, lava mesas, composite cones. Look at volcanic neck. When you see the volcanic neck, it is extruded to the Earth's surface. Talk about caldera with cylindrical cones on the floor. Those are some of the things. Then talk about the ashes, are also things that we can give considerations. When you move on, we are seeing some of other features that may be formed at the end. The intrusive one, we are seeing a seal. Then look at the dike, look at laccolith, look at eroded laccolith also there. So there are some of the features that may be formed within the Earth's interior. So we say that we have a dike seal, a batholith, patholith, laccolith. Those are some of the features that tend to be existing within the Earth's interior. They are formed when magma cools and solidifies within the Earth's interior at the great depth or at the shallow depth. So those are some of the features that are formed at the end. Now below we have these features and how they are detailed. When you look at the batholith, they are saying that these are large masses. They are large masses formed due to cooling and solidification of magma or hot magma inside the Earth's interior or inside the Earth. They are saying that they appear to be closely or appear on the surface only after the denudation processes, removing the overlying material. In other words, after weathering and erosion has taken place, so the batholith may be exposed at the end. When you move on, they are saying the batholiths are formed cones of huge mountains, and they may be exposed on the Earth's surface after erosion. They are saying these are granite in nature. In other words, they are of hard resistance rock material. When you go on, they are talking about the laccolith. When you look at the laccolith, we are looking at large dome-shaped intrusive bodied oil bodies connected with pipe-like conduct from below. These ones we are going to be seeing how they look like to be formed. For them, we have said that they are dome-shaped. In other words, they are in form of round saucer shaped. Actually, they try to create a curve on top of them. When you go on, we are looking at that these are basically intrusive counterparts of the exposed dome-like batholiths. In other words, they also tend to be having the same shape like those of the batholiths, but they only differ in terms of how they look like. When you go on, they are trying to tell us the areas that we usually find these landforms, the laccoliths and the batholith. Then when you go on, you have a lapolith. With the lapolith, this one is also an intrusive feature. This one develops into a saucer or a concave feature. It is formed to the sky body, concave to the sky body. In other words, it forms a saucer shape. It is a bit like a curve. That's how the racholic is formed. So the way how you see my hand, we are assuming that the downer part is a pipe, or what you can term as a vein. So when it rises, it forms, or when the material moves, so the material will be spreading horizontally. When it meets the hard rock, it will be forced to curve to form a saucer like a structure, or suspend like a feature known as racholic. When you go on, we shall be looking at what we call patholic. The patholic for it, it also appears within the Earth's interior. In other words, it is a waxy mass of intrusive rock. At times, it is found at the base of the synclines or on the top of anticlines in areas that have got what we term as the fold mountains or folded. So when we move on, we are saying that such way material have a definition or have a definite conduct of a source pan beneath in them, then a magma chamber that may be forming them. Then when you look at a seal, this one is an horizontal layer or horizontal lava layer spread within the Earth's interior, but it spreads in the form of a horizontal way, like an horizontal shape, like how I've spread my hand. So it spreads in that manner. They are saying that it is the near horizontal body of the intrusive igneous rock called a seal and a spread and a sheet, depending on the thickness of the material. They are saying that the thicker one called the sheet, the other are the horizontal deposits are called the seals. When you go on, you have what we call the dikes. The dikes are formed when the lava makes its way through the cracks and the fissures, then develops inland. In other words, within the Earth's interior, where it solidifies almost perpendicular to the ground. That is the dike also. When you move on, you have what we call the commonest intrusive features, where they are found in there. So those are the, some of the intrusive features. They are talking about the primary hazards that are directly resulting to eruption caused by about the release of substances during the eruption. Then they talk about the lava flow. Those are materials, pyroclastic poisonous gases. Then the secondary hazard that tending to be happening or then to be coming as a result of the primary hazard. Then you have what we call the mudslides. Acidic rains are brought about by the chemical that tends to be exposed, or gas that tend to be emitted into the atmosphere. For instance, they mentioned about the sulfur dioxide as one of the gases that contain dangerous chemicals that when blown into the atmosphere, they cause different things. They talk about the climatic changes being brought about by eruption within the Earth's atmosphere. They talk about fires, the way how they start and the way how they flow in order to damage the buildings and also the landscape where man tends to be living. Then seismicity. This is a measure which encompasses the earthquake occurrence, mechanism, and magnitude at sometimes the geographical location. So that is the machine that used to measure what we have termed as earthquake. When we go on, we are going to be looking at the causes of the earthquake onto the Earth's surface, and we also determine how these earthquakes are created from what we have termed as seismicity. Seismicity will be our next chapter or our next case study that we shall be looking at. For now, I beg we stop here, where we shall be picking up next time from.